afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us on Family Life Ministries. We are here once again to discuss a topic on marriage and relationships, as we usually do when we meet. At Family Life Ministries, our discussions are all based on the Bible because we believe that that's the manual that God has given us for our life, for every aspect of our life, not just marriage, our career, our parenting, everything that we do. And so all our discussions are based on the Bible. We thank God for our lives, like I said, and for the opportunity to meet again to discuss marriage and relationships. Today we have a very interesting topic that we'll be discussing. I'm excited already. And then we have our guests who are not new to this set at all. They are friends of Family Life Ministries, and they support us in diverse ways. We are very privileged to have Mr. and Mrs. NARTEY joining us today to discuss our topic. Papa and Mama, you are welcome. Thank you for joining us. Mr. and Mrs. NARTEY are in charge of the Odokom and Ayimesu preaching post, Presby preaching post in Akosombo. They have been married for almost 30 years, which means that they've gone through all the stages in marriage that we'll be looking at today. And so they are the right couple for this discussion. So our topic for today is life stages in marriage. Life stages in marriage. Every marriage is different. Marriages are the same. But one thing that is for sure is that every marriage goes through different stages. It's not going to be rosy throughout. It's not going to be smooth throughout. There will definitely be storms in the marriage. But these storms are not there to break us up as couples. They are there to strengthen our union and also help us to grow as a couple and as individuals. Unfortunately, sometimes we are not able to withstand all these storms, and they end up breaking us up as couples, leading to divorce, which we see a lot of. So we want to look at these stages, what comes with the stages, the good times, the not so good times, the challenging and difficult times as well, and how we are going to manage through those difficulties and come out stronger as a better couple. So the stages are very different, like I said. When we get married at first, it's just the two of us. We are so in love, we are crazy about each other, and we spend all our time together. We are excited about this new thing that we've entered. We are always together, we are always chatting and all that. Then the children start coming, if God blesses us with children. And in as much as they are gifts, they also present a lot of challenges, financial burdens, as we know, and the credit fees cry, it is saying, better biscuit, better diaper, wipes, all those things. So it's also a burden on our finances when we are blessed with children. Taking care of the children is also another issue. If the parents are doing it themselves, or if you have to get an outsider to help, it comes with so many challenges. And then the kids start growing. So we are paying more school fees as they are growing, which is also another financial burden. When they go to university, we are paying more. Hostel fees, everything. The fees, it's crazy these days. Sometimes when I hear the figures they quote, I say, hey, we have to really prepare ourselves. But that is the challenge that comes with it. And then the kids grow up. Even how to bring them up. Sometimes we don't really agree as a couple, and it could also lead to some challenges. They grow up, they leave the house, and then it's just the two people, just as we started. So I believe that how we go through the earlier stages is going to determine how we are going to enjoy the stage where we are alone, the empty nest stage. Because if we are not growing together and building a stronger relationship, then at the empty nest stage, we'll be at any baby, and then you are doing your own thing. So other areas that we'll be looking at are finances, yesi kasem as a couple. Is it rosy all the time? They be an yesi kasem no ebe washo and answer sometimes you be go down, and how do we handle those ones? Nye career mami ye ejuma, papa ye ejuma, and answer at a point e be a baako ejuma na nhye down koso yi nti e be a owofie. How are we going to go through that as well? Education, be a time be beba ye bepe si ye beto in school koso. Inti one beto aso and one bet nefie. We have to compromise and ensure say we all develop to a certain level. Our health, be and health challenges be about how are we going to handle it? Now different stages in the marriage. Sex is also another area. Is it going to be smooth all the time? Is it going to be exciting all the time? And I say, we are not really going to be interested in sex. We are going to discuss all these things, and we have Mr. and Mrs. NARTEY, like I said, who have seen it all, gone through it all, and are still standing strong and firm. And so they are going to help us to discuss this beautiful topic, life stages in marriage. You are welcome to the program, and thank you for joining us on YouTube at Family Life Ministries TV, also on Facebook at Mrs. Lucy Owari. Mr. NARTEY, life stages in marriage. What are the stages, and the whole marriage? What is marriage about, and what are the stages you are likely to encounter in the marriage?
Yeah, thank you. I want to thank you, all viewers, and for God giving us this opportunity to throw light on some of these topics. I want to say that we are not experts, but we are just followers of Christ, trying to share our experience with how God has brought us through so far. In the first place, I want us to look at the biblical point where we're going to put the marriage life stages in 3 parts. And we will take this reference from Genesis chapter 2, reading at verse 24. I want to quote. Now, therefore, a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. Therefore, a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. So, in simple terms, there are 3 areas that we'll look at as the phases. The man, both male and female, will leave their parents stage, where they are going to leave their parents and be joined. When they leave their parents, they are now matured enough to be independent. Then they join themselves, and then they become one flesh for life. So these are the 3 stages that we see in Genesis chapter 2, reading at verse 24. So I have grouped them in just 3 stages or 3 phases. And then my wife will help us go through, we'll break these 3 stages into, I think, about 7 phases or so. The first stage is the living stage. That is the marital living stage. It is a process. The process of living your parents and disengaging from one family to be bonded. The process of leaving father and mother and get bonded to your husband or to your wife. It has to do with ending the dependency from parents. So mommy will no longer give you money, or daddy will no longer pay your school fees for you again, because you are matured in a way to meet your woman and to plan your life, to be joined to your soulmate. Then the second stage is the union, the marital union, where the two, both male and female, will be joined together. That is just from the honeymoon. Just before you enter the honeymoon, when you have to go through all those processes and the preparation. So that's the living stage or the union stage. And then the last stage is the bond, which is supposed to be endless. So these are the three stages that I have put there. And I want my wife to throw light, breaking these three stages into the honeymoon stage and whatever. Then we will all discuss.
Okay, Mr. NARTEY, thank you. So, Mommy, Daddy wants you to continue with what goes into the various stages.
So, I would say that what he's talking about is the biblical aspect of the marriage that we all know.
Okay.
Living, cleaving, joining together, and then becoming one flesh.
Okay.
So, you mentioned something like disengaging from parents. Then you end the dependency, and then you become parents. You are also going to be parents. Then the second one, cleaving together, you enter into friendship, full friendship with another partner who is not a family member, somebody else who has come on board. Then the third one is becoming one flesh. Yesterday when we were discussing, look at the one flesh as being deep intimacy with another person who is not a family member, but then now becoming one.
So he said that the bonding stage, it doesn't end. No. So the marriage, throughout the whole marriage, you are bonding.
You are bonding. You are bonding. You share ideas with that new person, and then you plan together. Okay, so that is the biblical aspect of the marriage that we know. But then we realize that when you come together as man and wife, you go through stages in the marriage, just like giving birth to a child. You know, the child is a baby, so you take care of the baby. She depends so much on you. Now, he or she want to be independent, so you leave her on the floor, chlorine, holding things to try to walk, taking steps. It's another stage. Then you see this boy or the girl trying to run around, and then you start following the person around. You now realize that it's another stage. This person who is a baby on your laps now become a big boy who is playing football and playing ampere, or girl playing ampere around. So that is a stage of the baby. But then when you get into the marriage, there's also that aspect of stages that we have to go through. And we look at the first stage as the honeymoon stage. Then in this honeymoon stage, we realize that this is the time that the couple enter into a relationship. They go through the honeymoon stage when couples are so passionate about one another, each other. You don't see your partner, you just want to go around looking for.
You're always calling the person.
When he's in this room, you want to join. What are you doing? You want to help to do things together, because you are not trying to grow that love. You see, so you want that person to be always around you.
And it's like after the wedding too, everybody is congratulating you, everybody is wishing you well. It's like you are everywhere. Everywhere you go, you are noticed as the people who just got married. So you feel good about.
So if the person is not even around you, oh, why is your husband? Why is your sweetheart and all that? So you just want to bond around. And it says that this is a critical stage in marriage, because this is where intimacy and an emotional bond is established. you want to know the person more, you want to be by the person, you want to build trust together. So it's like everything is rosy, you just don't, when you are even seeing something wrong, you just close your eyes as if you haven't seen it because you don't want to hurt the person. You know, who person who son any at least who say who don't know into maybe will be an also who person of a hobby.
I'm told the women are always cooking. Because they are wishing about marriage. Oh, you're there also. The animal community. They be an Edianisi wire ready. Always washing stuff, cleaning the house. How? Because they are never do. Make up me. You worry a pen. We hear the animal, but some catasu and this cover with some lace. And the men are also excited to go home and eat because they know that there's food at home. Sometimes the wives even pack their breakfast when they are going to work. They will get our lunch bag or breakfast, no lunch.
Because it's like before you get married, you want to buy so many things. You know, we ladies just want to buy saucepan, the bowls, some glass jars and things. So this is the time you want to display them in your room. Yes. So when people come, at least I have this, I have that. So everything is all over the place, and there's joy and all that. And then with time, you start knowing the person, and then you move into the second stage, which is the reality stage or the realization stage. And this is where you begin to close one eye. Although you open the two eyes, you close one eye when you were in the first stage. You see? So it's like, oh, you are blind, you are not seeing things right. That was the first thing. But then the second one, you open your eyes wide. So
you see everything. Every wrong the person that you see it. So
this is the time you even want to refer to what you did in the first stage. I didn't. And I mean, Kasan into Kasan. I don't mean Kasan. I mean, who are now? And now, Pia now, cover now, man, Tomana mean Kasan. Oh, Kasan, said, no. This time you want to be firm. It's like you have taken your seats in the house. So you want to show the person that this is how I am. And that is where your true nature starts showing in the marriage. You want to show the person.
So at that stage, you are not trying to please anymore. You are being yourself. You can't hide your true self for too long. So you are just being yourself.
So, and this second stage, there's something. Is that in this stage you begin to see your partner for who they really are. It is not necessarily a bad thing, but then you see them as human, not the person that you close your eye to see at the first stage. This is the stage where, this is a stage which is often accompanied by disappointment, conflict, and sometimes leads to divorce. Because you see, you have endured in the first stage. There are certain things you didn't want to, but then you realize that this is the person I've married already. You have gone in. Now, oh, I didn't know he was like this. Oh, I didn't know she was like this.
Probably you've experienced the person's anger and it surprised you. It surprised you. Because in the honeymoon stage, maybe you never saw the person angry. It would do himself, oh, me couldn't do, you're very calm. Ni boom until say on the but reality no when we say hey ni bufu I say no tension say no ni say
and today say happen na ube say hey san ni pan say not but then you have already entered, because we are discussing Christian marriage. We are looking at the points where you wouldn't get to the divorce stage, and that is why we are discussing this topic, for us to know that there are stages. And every stage passes away. It is not permanent. It is going to move from one stage to the other. So when you begin to see these things happening, and I believe that's why we have a lot of divorces these days. Because people are not patient.
When they get to the reality stage, they say, wait, they mean to me.
Sometimes, some of the people, they even slap their spouses and things like that, you see. Hey, or to me,
now some mama abuse and there was so and I say, as a Christian, abuse so bad.
No.
You should stay and manage it.
You manage it. Because, I will say, some of the abuse,
it's debatable.
It's debatable. Wow. Ebiana, Nibofu, Ebiana, to that extent, to that point now, I didn't see, But sure, a sign be a winning. Oh, then this is another point. That this point too is the point where you have dialogue. A lot of dialogue comes in at this stage because you didn't know he'll be offended. Maybe there was something that happened. You didn't know he also didn't know I'll be offended. Hey, now me can't say me dana on Casano. Me first I met me here, but me now after the woman said, they say on to me, she can't contain it again. So I now understand. Okay, then find some time, sit together with your partner and then discuss. Oh, I'm sorry. This is where you have to come in with sorry. If you say, say, on him sorry, this other person doesn't say sorry. So what happened? Should I park? Should I park and go? Also, who said, why I didn't know why you're in here. Why prompting and say, now we're in here. But
some people don't know how to say
no. And this is the time you also have to study the person more. This is the reality. We are talking about reality. So reality is that you are now knowing the person. This is the real person I've married. The first stage, I didn't know her well. I didn't know him well. But this time, you are knowing him well. So let us adjust. Then adjustments come.
Okay.
Let's discuss. Let's dialogue.
But Mr. Nartey, I also realize that sometimes
I think the stage he's talking about is the keep quiet and suffer stage.
Because sometimes some people are not willing to dialogue. Also, depending on upbringing, some people talk about issues. Some too, they don't talk about issues. They prefer to sweep it under the carpet, pretend it's not there. So as you are, I think the conflict is more here because I want to talk about things. You don't want to talk about things. It is sometimes even getting to dialogue is a challenge. It's also another because you try to dialogue and it leads to more conflict because obi wa ne attitude towards dialogue is ebufu. It always leads to shouting, accusations here and there. This stage is a very challenging, very challenging
stage. Now, I want to add to what she's saying that you see, at the honeymoon stage, that's the first part. We want to read some thing from Proverbs chapter 3 to 4. Let your mercy and truth forsake.
3, verse 3 to 4.
Yeah, 3 and 4. Let your mercy and truth forsake you. Bind them around your neck, both. Write them on the tablets of your heart. And so find favor and high esteem in the sight of God and man. Please, we want to say that this is about Christian marriage that we are discussing.
Yeah.
We want to also assume that both partners are Christians.
Yeah.
I'm not saying churchgoers, they are Christians. People who have taken Christ as their Lord and Savior and are committed to obeying Christ. So, the first challenge that she talked about is respect, the reality stage. You come to realize that, your man at table doesn't eat well. Your man at table doesn't eat well.
Or he eats with his hands.
He eats
everything
hurriedly,
with his hands.
hurriedly. And when he's eating, he's not careful, and some of the food particles are falling left and right. So the woman may caution him. In fact, in our case, that was what was happening to me, because I used to eat with my hands. And when we got married, she introduced the cutlery. And meanwhile, this brody.
You are used to eating with everything with your hands, yeah.
Because I learned how to eat with the cutlery first in the boarding house. Even that, I went there as a senior. So most of the time, I'll ignore those things. But she was trying to teach me, and I wasn't patient enough. Somehow, gradually, I tried to learn what she was trying to say. But it didn't go well with me because I'm not a left-handed.
Oh, okay.
And it's the left that you have to use to hold the fork. So I was doing that for some time and I changed. I put the knife in the left and the fork in my right because I eat with my right hand. Well, up to now, I have still not overcome that. Now, this little thing could bring a conflict. If there is no respect, then don't marry at all. You need to marry the one you respect so that you can take your time to correct or prompt your spouse. Now, some people marry, and in the reality stage after the honeymoon, we want to go to meet so and so. We want to go for this meeting. And you are not comfortable going with the person because you think that you are higher in status than the woman, or the woman thinks she is higher in status than the man. And that is the beginning of the first conflict. So anybody who marries and does not have in mind to respect the woman to the latter or the man to the latter, then you better not enter even the honeymoon stage.
Okay.
Because if you know you want to marry somebody and you don't respect the person, or you are not proud to announce this is my wife, then it's not worth having her as your wife. I am cautioning here because people in the reality stage divorce. Because, for instance, your status as a medical doctor, and then you marry a lady who is a bus driver. You see, and when you were a doctor and you are going out with a bus driver and the bus driver sees her colleagues, and they begin to crack their jokes, you will not feel comfortable. So if you know your status, try and marry around that level or class so that you can be comfortable.
I think that is sound advice, because sometimes we are or don't know kata bibia, so when you feel you love the person so much,
it's
regardless
not
of what the person does. Sometimes we enter into it.
Maybe the person's beauty. The person look attractive. The person is so attractive, but you don't think you can go out with the person. But because you want to satisfy your sexual desires, you just go in, and then you begin to have a second thought after that.
So, advice to the singles: marry somebody you can respect for the rest of your life. Somebody you respect, so that when you have to caution the person, you will do it out of respect and out of love.
Patience.
Patience.
You'll be doing that in patience, in respect, and then love. So that is the first conflict. Now, another conflict can arise practically. In my case, I want to use myself as an example because my wife is here, so that when I'm telling lies, then she can tell me. When we got married, one challenge that I had after the honeymoon Because during the honeymoon, that was silent. Now, after the honeymoon, it became glaring that she wasn't happy.
Oh.
Because when we sleep, I don't know what goes on, but I start snoring. And she is very sensitive.
Okay.
So she is not happy about the snoring. And I'm sure she was battling that in her mind as to how to tell me,
manage this snoring.
hey, is this the man I'm married to? So will he be snoring all throughout?
I remember when he sleep and snore, then I'll just wake him up.
So at one time,
But during the honeymoon stage, you saw it.
No,
but you were okay with it.
Yeah, she kept quiet and didn't tell me anything because maybe she was wondering, thinking whether I would get angry or.
I thought you need to stop.
No,
okay.
it covered. The laugh covered it. I wasn't informed earlier. Maybe she should have informed me earlier that, hey, Papa, you can snore.
You can snore.
So one night, I was sleeping and she tapped me. I got frightened. So I woke up all of a sudden, as if something was happening. I said, why? I said, what is the problem? I said, you are snoring. Oh, I didn't know I was snoring. So if that is the case, I have to do something about it. But this is what I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
So I will wait till she falls asleep.
Before you go and sleep.
Before I will sleep. But then, I can't, for how long can you keep on doing this?
Yeah.
And I felt I was disturbing her. She also felt that to continue this, she was also disturbing me. So that was another challenge, but we solved it somehow.
And you've been together for almost 30 years with the snoring.
Well,
That is where the dialogue will come in. And the reality,
I
we're
think
moving on to the other stage. So we discuss that. You come to realize that you can't do anything about it.
So you have to accept
You
it.
have to adjust.
Yeah.
And then the adjustment comes. I think we have to move to the.
Okay.
No, but we have so many things in the point two that I think we need to
because
discuss.
it's a very important stage.
Yes. So apart from the dialogue, you have to be frank.
Okay.
Yes, that's like I was able to tell
him, yeah.
This is my problem. And you also said, oh, I'm sorry, we'll see how to adjust it.
Yeah.
But if you want to keep to yourself, meanwhile, you're not happy, you don't know what to do, and then you think, what do I do, and all that is another problem. Then another point is be assertive, but with respect. That's where Mr. NARTEY was bringing in the respect.
No, that's when
you are assertive, but then you are assertive. Be frank. Say what you want to say, but then it should be in a polite way, not in that sense. Then we also realize that the men should not impose. Men want to impose.
I'm the man. I'm in charge.
I'm in charge. That's kind of. The woman also wants to insist.
Yes.
So you look at the word impose and insist. Women want to insist on what they want. Men want to impose whatever they want you to do for them. That's another problem.
Okay, Mommy, just a minute. We have a question here from Teacher Ima. He wants to find out, is it only the man that leaves the house or the woman too during the bonding stage? Mr. NARTEY took us through the living stage, the union
Genesis
stage.
chapter 2, verse 24.
So is it just the man or it is both?
Both.
Okay.
When the Bible talks about man, the Bible is not talking about only the male. It's talking about female, both sexes. So both the male and the female must leave their parents and cleave together. So you see, traditionally, we have a tribe in Ghana. I am trying not to offend tribes, but they like to stay in their homes
Even though they are married.
Even though they are married, they want to stay with mommy and daddy and still be relating to.
So they go there on weekends. And
you see
back.
them carrying small basket, going along.
I think that usually the women are guilty of this.
Yeah, I don't want to mention
they are so close to their mothers. They want to go and visit mommy every weekend. Sometimes even go and cook in mommy's house. So it is the man in the Bible refers to both men and women. So both would leave.
Yes.
Let me also add this. So mommy and daddy should also not interfere too much. Because that's a point. This is a point of your daughter have been taken away or by a man or somewhere to go and serve. But you see, sometimes the women even ask their mommies to cook for them, go for the food for mommy and come and serve the men. And that's another problem. So when the daughter is leaving, then is leaving and leaving for good. Not that you are not going to them any longer, but then once in a while you visit. Yes. You visit them, but then that's dependency should no more be there. Just leave your daughter.
Yes, I said that. Yes. There is a process where you no longer depend on your parents, but you are matured enough to come together to depend on each other, the male and the female together, no longer the parents again. So you see, I want to bring a point of correction here. If you are married today and we are within this 5 days after the honeymoon, and you are still moving from your mother to your father, the Bible says no. Both should leave their parents and be joined together. So leave your father and leave your mother. Don't stay in your mommy's home or family house and be marrying your husband somewhere. It is dangerous.
Sometimes it's not physically present. Sometimes it's even on phone. You may not be close, but then everything that happens in your house, your parents are aware of it.
Yes.
So aside the physical side, sometimes everything in your house, your parents are aware. And that one too is very key, because now we are all over the place. Your parents may be outside the country, you may be outside the country, but you are every day you talk to your parents.
And that's where you take advice from. Mommy says do this, do that, and then if you don't
the first person you call is your mother. The last person you talk to is your mother.
You have entered a playing field. And when you realize that when you are playing, the players on the field do not leave to go and stand on the touchline and be asking their coach, what should I do?
Yeah.
When there is a penalty and you are on the field, you must shoot. Because you have had that training already from home.
Yeah.
So if you go and ask your coach, where should I play the ball to? Is it to the left or to the right? No. Plan with your husband for the future. And it is not right for couples to be visiting their parents too often. It brings a lot of conflict.
Okay.
If you want to visit your parents or your in-laws, both of you should go.
Plan. You have to
and plan to go.
Okay.
But where the woman goes alone all the time and behave as if she still wants to suck mommy's breast, that one is out, because it will bring conflict.
Yeah.
Because the way mommy and daddy married might be different from our era now. You see, so we have to learn from each other.
Yeah.
There are so many things that I have learned from her. She has also learned from me. The last time we came, I was talking about this. That one of the things I learned from her was, after the honeymoon, we sleep, and I don't care leaving the bed just like that, not dress the bed. And then she'll call my attention. She will draw my attention to, hey, why don't you lay the bed? I know that she is an expert, so you do it. So is that how you were behaving at home? these are few things that I learned, but I don't need to tell her, and her head will be swollen.
But it's true, some people don't lay their bed. When they are coming to sleep,
in fact,
they just
we all
do
have
this
weaknesses. And I am not shy to talk about my weakness, because I have overcome my weakness. Even still, I'm still struggling with it.
But come in here with the parents interfering or the child going back to. That's where the parenting aspect of marriage is very important. You know, because you know your girl will be going into another marriage, just like you have gone into a marriage. You have to train your child, your girl child especially, to know how to do so many things. But when we get there,
you talk about that.
So I think we'll throw more light on that when we get there.
So we are still in the reality stage.
Reality stages. Okay, we're looking at. There's another point here that if the reality stage is not well handled, it leads to disappointment, it leads to quarrels, and it leads finally to divorce. So this is a stage that you have to handle very well. And we were talking about dialogue and talking to each other. And I realized that sometimes how to handle the dialogue to is another problem. You know, you just call the person's attention, you want to insist. But I've come to realize that when you sit down quietly with the person to talk to the person, it also works. You know, when we got married, I want to insist on so many things. Sometimes I don't really understand why.
You have to lay the bed. You have to eat with the fork.
I think they were so simple that I was thinking that they were so simple that I shouldn't wait for somebody to correct, you know. But up to now, he does it. When we go in the kitchen, we just put the bread on the cabinet. You can't leave it like that with ants all over the place. It's like you're mad. Why should this be? You know, I want to insist, but then I realize that.
So you've also learned to
So
this time I work in Accra. When I come straight to the kitchen,
that stage is a shocker.
Hey,
so this man, is that the way he eats? Is that the way he slices his bread? She was surprised.
You know, I think like I'm always concerned about the kitchen especially. I just want to get things right. I put things, so sometimes I do it in his presence, thinking that because he see me doing it,
but it still doesn't change.
She married the villager.
So you have to adjust and then make sure that you don't insist too much on what's your rights. You know, when you want to be insisting on your rights, it leads to quarrels. You always quarrel. There will be no peace in the house, and that's why you want to be sharing your thoughts with mommy,
with your parents,
friends, and then telling you so many things. Meanwhile, theirs is not good, but because they know you'll be telling them more, they'll be calling and hearing from you more, and that is where you have problems in your marriage. So we have to handle this very well, so that it will not lead to divorce. And we're thinking about some of the things that happens within this stage. We realize that sometimes stinginess also comes in.
Where it's a point we discuss. That's the shocker stage. Because the kelewele stage is past.
That's the honeymoon.
You want to please your partner, the honeymoon stage. That stage is past. You have now entered into a new zone where the woman begins to see that, so, hi, sweetie, can you buy this for me? Oh, why? But we bought it last time. I don't have money.
We just paid the rent. We just bought this.
So when the finance starts dwindling like this, then the partners will begin to see the reality on the ground. And it's painful to know that sometimes some people become so stingy. You have to be open-handed. You have to open your arms. Whether you have or not, you have to tell your partner. And this is where truth comes in. You have to be honest. You have to be frank, so that your partner will trust you. You see, but if you say there is no money, and then the next moment your partner begins to see that you are buying something more expensive than the money
or
is
sending
requested,
money to your family.
good, or sending money to your family, then it will create a conflict. So there's sincerity, openness, dialogue. I don't have, because this is the only one left. Like, be open so that your partner will get to know the truth about you. Don't lie to each other. Telling lies will promote anger when the truth is unfolded. You see, so it is a very sensitive and dangerous stage that people begin to lose interest. They draw back. They start drawing back.
I deserve
better. So I think I didn't marry the right person.
Yes.
I shouldn't have married you. And that statement should not come from the lips of Christians. Because you prayed before entering into the marriage. So you cannot blame God. You see, you have to blame yourself, and then you adjust and maybe try to suggest to your partner what he or she should do. Because I'm sure that if my partner had known that I used to snore, she wouldn't have. I would have lost her.
No, maybe she would have signed herself up for the snoring. She would have signed herself up so that she would not be surprised that you snore.
But there are certain things you will never know.
Exactly.
Unless you
enter the marriage, and then it opens your eyes to so many things. Mommy, you want to say something?
A friend of mine mentioned that when the honeymoon stage, they used to wash together, cook together, even go to the market together. But the husband would be in the car waiting, would bring the items into the car and pack it. They go out, they'll bring out things together and enter the kitchen. But when they got to the reality stage, this man will never appear in the kitchen.
Because he's tired.
During the washing time too, during the honeymoon, the man will wake her up around 5. They will wash, hang things together, washing, iron and things like that. Then they go to the reality stage. This man will not come. And she will struggle to wash. After washing and bringing the things from the line, put them on the bed, for this one to just come and fold them up. That's another.
Sometimes I think it's it the children that put pressure on this stage, because if God blesses you, that is the stage where the children will start coming in. And I know that the children bring a different level of stress on the marriage, because your pressure from work, you are taking care of children, very key, finances and everything. I think they all add to compound the stresses of this stage. But I just want to say that sometimes the mindset of the couple is also very key. Are you there to stay? Or as soon as you see that this is how it is, they mean to me, and you are going out. So some of these discussions, like you said, the dialogue is very necessary, because issues are going to come. But when the couple knows that we are staying, we are not going anywhere, we are in it together, then it also helps to ease the pressure of that stage, because you know that you are in it together. It's tough, yes, but you are staying in it together. But if everybody is on their own and they mean to me, I deserve better and all those things, it also makes it a bit tough on us. So
because we are coming from the Christian background, I'm thinking that there's a point you also have to tell yourself that it's not going to be better somewhere else. Because it's going to be the same. So if you are thinking about divorce at this point, then know that when you, unless maybe you want to say that when I move out of this, I'm not going to marry again. But when you are going to marry again, then you are going to meet the same problem here. So why won't you adjust here and make sure that this one works for you, instead of going out, because already you have gone to you have gone into the church with witnesses to vow that you are staying together until death do you part. So you have to stay together.
Okay, Mommy, so I have a few questions here. Teacher Imma, he says, during the reality stage, can the marriage continue all rosy just as it was during the honeymoon stage? Can there be a marriage where there is no shock and surprise during the reality stage? That's the first question. And then he's also asking, it's the same question, okay. Benes Bedema says, living sometimes even entails leaving your friends, work, character, etc. Some spouses always get attached to their work, even more than his or her spouse.
Yeah, that is what I said. That stage is a shocker stage. But then there is one very important point which I omitted, and that is prayer. You see, because we are talking about Christian relationship, Christian marriage, you may be shocked about certain behaviors of your partner. But then you must be relaxed, so that, and be open, that whenever they tell you your weakness, your weak areas, you must be prepared to admit and accept your faults. That is the point of correction. Be prepared to admit and accept your weak areas, and then dialogue to see how you can improve on them. So you dialogue, you come together and pray about it. In fact, God can do everything, but it's man who cannot do everything. But God can do everything. So you carry it to God in prayer. And a couple that doesn't pray together leaves a loophole in the marriage. So to seal that loophole, you need to pray together daily if you are living together. For instance, my wife and I didn't live together for so many years because she works in Accra and I work in Akosobo. So when she comes for a weekend, there's no need to be quarreling, because if you are quarreling during the weekend, then the honeymoon would be gone.
Yes.
And so, but even though she doesn't live with me all the time, we sometimes pray even on the phone.
On the phone, okay.
And the prayer is very important. And your individual prayer too is important. God, help me with this problem. How am I going to do to go around it?
So, Teacher Emma was asking, is it possible not to have the reality stage?
No.
You can't jump the
It's
gun.
a stage.
You have to, by all means, go through that stage.
Okay.
Because after the honeymoon, you can't end the marriage.
You can't have honeymoon forever.
And you can't have honeymoon forever. You must face reality.
Yeah.
You have to face it. And there are bitter and sweet edges
I
that
think that's what they say when they are cutting the wedding cake. The women who cut the wedding, they say that the cake is made up of so different things.
Yeah.
Some are sweet, some are sour. And then Benis also mentioned that sometimes it's not just family you are leaving. You have to leave behind certain characters, certain behaviors, certain friends.
Yeah.
You leave all of them behind so that you can bond with your partner.
She mentioned work.
Work.
But, I'm thinking about the work because sometimes you can't leave the work because you, unless maybe you are sure that where you are moving out to, let's say you
get
the man
else.
is in Takoradi, Kumasi, and you work in Akosombo.
Yeah.
Now you are married and you want to join your husband somewhere. Okay, if the man can get to work there, or you yourself can work out something, it could be a transfer or something, then you have to. Because you have to leave it, and then go. And it shouldn't be immediate. I mean, if you are not too sure, I'm not saying that because of where you shouldn't also go to marry. But then if you are not too sure, getting it immediately, then you could stay around for some time and then make sure that you get something there. Because when we met the first time, I was telling you, I didn't want to go out to go and work because I felt I'm married here. And that was the honeymoon stage.
Yes.
I thought
when you got to the reality stage,
you realized that no, I can't be asking my husband for everything. So what do? I have to move out of Akosombo. And I stayed in Akosombo for 5 years without working. Wow. And I was depending on him, and I made sure we were doing some small meat pie, drinks and things. I was trying to, but then I realized that I also have a career.
Point that sometimes you have to leave friends, not only mother and father. But when I was quoting the Bible, it was verbatim. Parents, you have to leave father and mother. But not only that, also your friends. Some friends can be so close that you must announce to them that you are now married.
Especially the opposite.
Okay.
For instance, I have girls, ladies who were my friends. You have to tell them, hey,
now I'm married.
Yeah, I'm married. Yeah, so I'm going to my wife.
They should give you some space.
Yeah, give me some space. So it's a very strong point. Sometimes when you glue too much to the old friends, the woman becomes jealous, or the man also becomes jealous. There might be no issue like that, but why is that my husband
always on
still
phone with the
not
guy,
right?
And you say he's my best friend.
It's my best friend. Your best friend, you are getting too close.
I think it's part of the growth process. As you are going
so as
marriage,
we all learn from these our discussions, we have passed through.
Yes.
Because I passed through this very stage.
Okay.
And I was almost mad because I'm married. These are my old friends that I'm with them. Say I should tell them that I'm married. But they were the people who started with me. You see, but the reality is that you are now married. So cut them off.
Not completely.
Not completely, but you should have more intimacy with your woman than the friends, the old friends. That's a very important point.
Thank you, Bernice, for your point. We appreciate it.
And I also say that the children are coming. They are knocking at the door. This stage is very, very crucial. I want to say this, that all men go through this stage not happy. Because if the first baby comes out, the woman's attention or the lady's attention, the clock shifts to the baby and not to the man anymore. The woman will tell her husband, my breast is for my baby. It's not for you.
But of course, the breast is
you can't have two people fighting over one breast. You are not twins.
It's just for a period.
No. But the men, frankly speaking, are not happy. Because the baby has come to take his position. And the women are also passionate about the new baby.
Yes.
And the attention is so much on them that sometimes when you even want to go there to have intimacy with her, she says, hey.
Say, I'm tired.
No, yes. These are the news.
I'm breastfeeding.
Well, as we discuss now, I think everybody will begin to agree with me.
Yes.
I wasn't happy about that. You are denied for a long period.
It's just for about a year or so.
No, but you see, the sex drive is very strong.
It doesn't hold on at all.
No, we are not patient in this.
Yeah, so
when the sex drive comes out strongly, the woman will say, let's pray. Hey!
Let's pray.
Yes. All because she wants to shift her attention onto the baby.
Maybe by the time you finish praying, the baby will be crying and you have
So,
to
well, I want to say that Christian wives should change. Those who are yet to marry, learn from us that I wasn't happy.
And then I also want to say that
this is a practical talk.
Should be patient
during that.
They should be patient during that stage because it is a stage.
It doesn't last too long. It's just
but you know,
from 1 year, the baby can sleep in the cot the whole night.
But God didn't design that for patience.
Christian women, I say you should have time for your husband.
You see, you should know what your husband likes and what he doesn't like in this period, that stage.
When the baby comes.
When the baby comes, of course, the man will be happy there is a new person at home. That is the baby. But then, he should also have in mind that this baby needs all that necessary attention for a period.
As a man.
You see, but that period is very, very difficult for the men.
That's why you have to pray more.
Exactly.
Because you can't go out.
That when they help, when the men are also helpful, women are, I think that for women, when you help us, so if you are around, Ojari baby, I'm giving you examples, Sister
No,
Nancy.
2 people can bath the baby.
I'm not saying you bath the baby, but Ojari no, what set up news you. Why we sometimes when you bear 6 months, Ojari no we are watching what dressing. So the woman is also happy because you are always around her, feeding, no feeding, we feeding the we are also to 3 bottles, move, you are cleaning the kitchen. So she's happy.
Good.
But if the woman is doing all these
because
things,
they want some payment.
that's what I'm saying. So if you want to enjoy the payment, then help with these things. And but if you don't help with those things, now may breastfeed. Now what's the one thing?
Yeah, but we are Christians,
yes,
and we must be frank. We must be open. You tell your wife that, oh, baby, she.
You still don't want to accept why you have to help.
Yes, Mr. Norte, it's like you are brushing what I'm saying
no,
aside.
I'm not brushing it aside. I said I have passed through that stage with difficulty.
Yeah, because
you sailed through.
Yeah,
I sailed through.
Yes, so you have to encourage the young ones.
Even the prayer you will be praying at that time.
You have to encourage the young ones that it won't last forever. It's just for a year or 2. But as I'm saying, it makes it easier for us because then you are not too tired. The stress that comes with childbirth, mommy, you agree with me. The toll on your body physically is one. The mental issues you are dealing with, ejumemu stress. Sometimes you are supposed to close at 3, but you can't. Because social center now, you can't leave the place at 3. Coca-Cola, bottles, bowls. It's a lot. Iron and washing. It's a lot. Until that's the time that we need the men to help us. Once you are hands-on, everything will be smooth. Mr. Nante.
Yes, I understand.
Thank you.
I sometimes help.
Okay.
You see, but for the purpose of this discussion, I am pleading to all Christian wives and wives to be that even if you are denying your man for a period, be patient and know how you tell him so that he will understand. But don't say it harshly. The new
Can't
baby
you
is
see
there.
that I'm breastfeeding?
Yes, I'm breastfeeding. Can't you say I'm breastfeeding? But the man will also say he's hungry.
Thank you for that advice.
We should know how to
it's two-sided.
talk about
it.
Yes. And then the other part is the man shouldn't be angry in his mind and his heart and try to pin the woman down somewhere. You should understand that the person has come to help you. And you must also be there to help.
Yeah.
So that even though I said I passed through that stage with difficulty, it doesn't mean that I had to impose.
Yeah.
If you say that you will not let me have my way, then I'm going out. That is the mind of the devil.
Yeah.
And your woman will begin to see that he has married the devil's incarnate. So it shouldn't get to cool the man to understand. And these things, it takes time for the man to cool down.
Yeah.
So the Christian lady should know how to cool the man down, because it takes when the man gets up, in other words, get heated, it's not easy. So we should know how to use our Christian values, our patience. In fact, the Bible talks about the spirit of self-control. So every Christian father should have the spirit of self-control, just as a wife too.
Yeah.
So that when it gets to such time and you enter into serious prayer, Christ himself will cool you down.
Amen.
So you don't beat your wife because the new attention has shifted onto a new baby.
Thank you.
You don't divorce at this stage.
At this stage.
Because it's a stage.
Yes.
That's why we have the stage.
Yes. Thank you. So are we done with the reality stage?
The reality,
Okay.
we are moving on to this one. There's another phase which is almost connected to the reality, which is rebellion.
Okay.
The rebellion stage is where you want to voice out, like Sonata is saying, you show the person that I'm not happy about this, you know. You want to rebel because you have kept quiet for a long time, you stand this action, this behavior any longer, so you want to rebel. And in this stage, a lot of marriages end on the rocks because they can't bear the situation any longer. And yesterday I was giving Mr. Nate a scenario where somebody got married and realized that the man was a gay. And then when they want to meet,
I say it properly so that people don't think that I'm gay.
no, I was saying that I was telling her husband.
We were discussing with me how somebody gave an example.
As an example that it was, I think, 2-3 years ago. Okay. They got married and then this man comes to church, all right. The lady proposed to the lady in the church. So they thought they had met themselves and want to marry. And they got married. Then the honeymoon stage, realized that the man was a gay. And didn't want to go through the proper sex thing, but they want to use the other way around.
Which other way around? The other gateway.
And then the lady was insisting, no, but you know, she has already entered and she didn't know how to tell friends about it, didn't know how to tell parents about it.
That
was a time of leaving to cleave. So you are cleaving now and you have become one, you don't even know how to go about it. So this lady had to suffer through, go through all this, and the mother realized that she was growing lean. So at a point in time, she decided to confide in the mother to tell her that no. She was now using diapers because she had a problem and she couldn't stand it. Then the mother said, no, you have to invite the man and the parents. So they came together. The man they denied. No, it's not true. The man denied. The lady went to the room, undressed herself for both mothers to see what she was going through. Then they realized that no, this time, that's the rebellion stage, where you think that no, I can't. I have to move out of.
But some of the issues are serious. I think that in as much as we want to avoid divorce, depending on the situation, you should seek help.
Yes.
You should seek help.
And they were all blaming her. So I think it was about 3 years before she came out. And she had gone through that situation, and it was a health problem, medical situation that you have to now go in. So they have to what parents decided that no, we can't.
They should go their separate ways.
They have to come out of this marriage, and they divorced.
The rebellion stage.
Yeah, meanwhile the lady had suffered all this thing already.
Goodness.
So that's the stage that no, I can't stand it any longer. It comes in. Sometimes too, the rebellion stage, you voice out. It couldn't be to that extent. It could be a different thing altogether. Let's also give an example where you realize that the man is impotent. And then, oh yes, we are talking about relatives.
The man...
Where you go in, got married, you realize that the man cannot do anything. And this man is not ready to seek help.
Yeah.
But then you want to help. So what do? The rebellion stage, you rebel. To the point that where the man will now have to be forced to see a doctor or somebody comes in. And when you are talking about Christian relationship, this is where the man, you have to just subject yourself to the situation and say that no, I have to. You see, they rebel because if the woman doesn't go to that point, it's like then I'll be in this marriage for how long?
Then the reality stage is serious. A lot of things happen there.
This is wickedness to the highest extreme.
Yes. But
if you know that you are not well, there's something seriously wrong with you, why do you go to disturb somebody's daughter?
You see, with this impotency too.
No, I think this is coming from
when they seek help. Sometimes it works.
Yes. So the man should have sought help before the wedding.
Before the wedding.
It should work the wedding.
Because if this thing, the lady realized that the thing is not working. Oh.
That one, the honeymoon stage, you won't finish it.
You see, sometimes you see people divorce within a short time. You don't really understand, and sometimes they don't even want to talk about it because some of these things, they are serious issues and sensitive issues that you cannot come out.
No, but it's wicked. It's more than being a wizard or a witch. I mean, how do you?
People do it.
Are you a Christian?
People do it. Okay, that's where the question lies. That's where the question lies.
But sometimes when the man is ready to seek help, I believe it will work.
Yes, you see, before you enter into the marriage.
Not even before. Even when you realize it and you want to, the woman can help.
No, you can't help. This is when he's there, 6 o'clock.
That one, you can't do anything about it.
No. So you must ascertain in your mind that you are moving positively forward because you are not at 6 o'clock. You see? But if you go knowing the reality, there is one moon will expose you. By all means. And it is wickedness.
Yes.
You see, because Malachi chapter 2 verse 16, it says, divorce I hate, says the Lord. Divorce I hate. If you know scripture, and the Holy Spirit is in you, you wouldn't go to disturb somebody's daughter. You are a witch or a wizard going to know that this is, you see, for the women's part, you might not know whether the person is barren or not. That one, it leads to prayer. But for the man, you know. And
what
the
if
opposite,
the man didn't know?
No.
What
if you are
it wasn't
6
there
o'clock
like
every
that
day
before the man proposed?
So after the proposal, then the situation developed. But he would have still sought help.
You have to be frank. You have to be open. But how many men can be so open to tell their fiancés that the thing has become 6 o'clock? I don't understand your language.
Okay, let's come to reality. Let's say you are Christians, you got married, and then all of a sudden you have issues like this. It could also be spiritual attack.
But that one, it wasn't like that from the beginning. That one, I get it. But when you are aware that this is your challenge, and
let's move to where you are not aware.
The woman should not be aware. I want to emphasize the point that you shouldn't be aware. that the man, there is a challenge like that.
He should work on it before.
He should know that there's no challenge. You are going into it. Are you going to be holding the man's genital organ before the wedding?
So that's why you were upset about it. That the man is aware that he has a challenge. So why will you not seek help and you not inform the woman and you marry her? So what are you there for?
Because that's why I'm saying that the man should work on his potency
before
the
wedding.
marriage.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That is one aspect. I'm talking about Christians. You have come to marry. You are all right.
And the problem
then
comes
all of a sudden,
no, so let me ask you, how will the woman know that the man is all right?
In the marriage.
Before the marriage.
No, mommy is talking about when you've entered the marriage and a problem comes up.
Like
and
when you've entered the marriage.
Yes.
After
the
honeymoon.
honeymoon, then the 6 o'clock develops.
Then you should fast for 40 days.
So I think it's all about honesty and openness.
Yes.
Very good.
So this one calls for prayer from both partners.
Okay.
Where you have to pray together. Then let's also say that then the man also comes to know that the lady had a problem. Now she can't give birth. If the problem is from the woman too, the two of you should come together to pray. And God does so many things, wonderful things.
So that's the rebellion stage. Okay.
Yes.
So let's move
Yes, so the rebellion stage will end at the Malachi chapter 2 verse 16 that I was trying to read.
Malachi 2:16.
For the Lord God of Israel says that he hates divorce. He hates divorce.
Okay.
So I want to say it on this show that the Lord is not happy about people who are quickly rushing with their lips. I'm going to divorce him. I'm going to divorce him. For just little arguments and quarrels that arises. You say you want to leave the marriage. The Lord says he hates it. So if you are for the Lord, on the Lord's side, then do what pleases the Lord. Luke chapter 6 verse 46, it says, why do you call me Lord, Lord, and not do what I tell you? The Bible is telling us that divorce God hates. So if there is a problem or a challenge, the two should dialogue, bring their heads together and see how they can go around it. Rather than saying that I want to leave the marriage. You want to leave and go and marry who? Because nobody is perfect.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, so the next stage, we have the reassessment stage. Reassessment. And this stage, you reassess where you are in the marriage by taking time to reflect and begin to develop gratitude for what you have built together. Okay. Now you have passed through the reality stage. You have seen it always difficult, but then you have managed to adjust, dialogue, and be frank and all that. Then you have to reassess your marriage. You have come so far. Are we going back because of this small thing? We have built our house, we have bought a car together, maybe we contributed to do so many things.
So now you've accepted each other for who you are, with your issues
and everything. So then there's something, the surviving stage 3 of your marriage also gives you a sense of security within your marriage. Now you are comfortable with whoever you have married, with a mind that you have vowed not to move out till death do you part. So what are you going to do to make sure that this marriage works? And that is where you have to now bring in ideas, build things together. You were like this, but I think I can't do anything about it. Now let's move on. Let's move on. Complaining here will be a waste of time because you can't complain all the time. So I have said it several times and it's not working. Keep quiet, adjust yourself and move on.
You ignore everything that
So marriage is like a cultivated garden. When you have a garden, some unwanted weeds will come, will show up. You have to take your time and uproot them. And then the garden or your flower will be nice. If you don't uproot the weeds, the whole thing will not be proper. So the stage of cultivation where you pick the leaves that are within the crops, that is the stage she's talking about now. You come together and the unwanted things, you throw them away. The unnecessary quarrels that are coming left and right, you keep them out. And then you plan together, if there are children, you plan together how to nurture, how to bring up your children. You plan how to, the number of children you want to have. In fact, this planning should come even from the honeymoon stage. Yeah. Because if the man says he wants 10 children, and
the woman wants to,
the woman wants to, that one will be too much gap of conflict. So you have to come together. Oh, why do you want to? You know I'm the only child, so I want 4. Okay, if you want 4, I also want 2. So let's look for the medium.
That's 3.
Then you come together and decide. Now, as the children grows up, the education becomes more expensive. And that is another challenging part. So you have to plan together how to pay their fees, or other than that, your children will go to schools you don't want. Because you will be praying and planning ahead for the children's education. In this stage, you are also the role model of the children who are growing up. The mother and the father becomes role model for their children. Yesterday when we were discussing this, I told her that the father should be a role model, like Paul also said, that you can have so many instructors, but only one father. You can't go and buy a father in the market, but you can go and hire an instructor to come and teach you this or that, but you can't go and hire a father. So the children will be looking at you, and you will also be looking at your children. Now, the struggle will come when they have to attend a particular school. If you know your resources will not meet that demand. For instance, in this area like this, I know Akosomo International School, their fees are very high as compared to the government schools here. Okay, I want my child to go to Akosomo International School. And you have to look at your salary. You have to look at your income. It is a good school, but then if your income cannot meet that, you better look for a school that your income can meet. Other than that, you go and borrowing things all around, and that will rather bring a disgrace. So I want to advise that at this particular stage, as you plan for your children's future, you also cut your cloth according to the cut your coat according to your cloth that you have.
Thank you, sir. So, Mommy, that's the reassessment stage. Okay.
Yes. Right. Then the next stage is the reunion. Reunion. Okay. That's where you grow together. The children are grown. Most of them are leaving home. And then it's left with mommy and daddy alone. So, like, the problems we face in the initial stage, trying to pick up things from the hall, arrange things together, is no more. Now your home looks decent.
It's just the two of you.
Just the two of you. So you have to now sit and plan. And that is where you also look at your health issues.
Yeah.
Your health issues. You have to think about how to maintain a good health.
Because maybe you need to change your diet.
Dieting will come in at the stage because very soon grandchildren will start coming in, and you have to be strong to take care of them. So it shouldn't be like you're old, so that's all. Another responsibility is coming up. So how do you raise yourself to take up that responsibility in the future? That is that point of the reunion. And then you sit down and think about, maybe now you discuss retirement that are past, and then how do we enter into.
So at this stage you are like the best of friends, right? Yes. You've gone through everything, and so the person knows you. You can even quote what the person will say before he says it.
You can crack jokes. Jokes, serious jokes.
You are like brother and sister.
Brother and sister. We are no more shy of each other. I think my wife doesn't feel shy of me anymore.
Oh, after 30 years there. She can say anything. She knows what you want, what you like. She knows everything. So at this stage, you are like brother and sister. So that's the empty nest stage, right? When it's just the two of you. And I think that stage is very enjoyable.
It's enjoyable, just like the honeymoon stage.
So you get back to the honeymoon stage.
But then this is an advanced honeymoon stage.
Wow. And it all depends on how you handle things in the earlier stages, especially the difficult reality stage. It's all going to tell on the reunion stage. Thank you very much. So, Mr. NARTEY, I want you to walk us through the finances part. When you marry at first, how is the finances like? And then the children start coming, they are growing, they are teens and all that. Then after that, I want mommy to take us to bringing up the children. It's also a difficult challenge, especially at the teen age, because it comes with so many things. I have a 10-year-old, she already has mood swings. So when it comes like that, you just leave her alone. So I want you to walk us through that when Mr. NARTEY is done with the finances.
The finances. Money, the love of money is the root of all evil. The Bible didn't say love of money, but the love of it. Too much money will destroy the marriage. But financing, all silver and gold belongs to God. So the first stage is that you must be open and be frank with your partner. This is my income. This is how much I earn per month. Your partner, fortunately, if she's also working, she will also have to come up openly. This is how much we have. Now, how much can we put down for the children? It needs collaboration, planning together, so that we want our child to be in school A and not school B. Okay, we want our child to go in for this course in the university, and it is expensive. So you have to start saving towards that, because the children that you give birth to are your investment. I want to emphasize on this. All the children that we produce, that God has given to us as gifts, are our investment. Tomorrow when you are hanging by the walking stick and you can't do anything, it is this investment in your children that will blossom to come and look after you in your old age. So we should never joke with the children that God has given to us as gifts. God will question us, what did we do with the gift that he gave to us? So we have to plan, you have to save towards their education. You save until they become independent. Because for that period, they will be depending on both. The wife must support and the man must also support. It shouldn't be a one-way affair. Okay, daddy, you alone pay the school fees. Do this, do this. The children have come to the house. You see, they have sacked them from school. No. The financing is a very difficult part. And when we are dealing with money, we have to be very, very careful. Because money makes people happy. Money makes people happy, but not joyful. You see, so when the money comes in, put some aside. Plan. And don't plan as if you don't have children. You'll be building big, big houses when the children's education is at stake. Yeah. So you plan what to do with your money one at a time. You prioritize it. And the woman must be very supportive, equally as the man to also support the planning of the children's education. Buying their books, buying all uniforms and all their food and provisions and everything. Now, one wholesale fee in the tertiary is about 6,000. Just a wholesale fee. So if you don't plan towards that, and your child or your son or daughter cannot get the hostel, then you have failed God. So you plan ahead. You have to, nobody has all the resources in this world. It is based on planning. And don't hide the planning from your spouse.
It has to be done together.
It has to be done together so that the investment you are making, in fact, you are not making investment in a building. You are making investment in the human being, in a soul. And it is God who will water it so that it will blossom, and one day you'll sit somewhere, relax in your armchair and be enjoying. That is very, very important.
Mommy, this investment bit is brought about, something is going on social media about the emotional development of our children. That is also another side of the investment. So walk us through how we should work on that side as well, because sometimes the child may have all the education, go to the best schools and all that, but you realize emotionally the child is disconnected from you.
From the parents.
So you may grow up and I don't want to come close to you. You took me to school and all that, but you didn't support me emotionally. So please take us through that side in bringing the children up.
I want to add to Daddy's the number of children. You have to plan for the number of children you have to give birth to, especially you said that. But then when it comes to your finances, because this time around school fees is very high, hostel fee is very high. So when he mentioned the 6,000, I'll just imagine somebody who has about 3 children or 4. So if you are going to pay hostel fee for 4 children,
and you have to buy them phones, buy them laptops, buy them things that in our time they were not
money and things like that. You have to support
and
them.
the phones that
they want the high-end ones, the iPhones.
So with the singles that are coming up now, we want to advise that you should know the number of children you plan for.
Sometimes the unplanned ones too happen. So what do we do about that?
No, you mean you want to plan?
Yeah,
you
like
plan to have
children,
1 or 2,
and then be a
mistake. But then when one comes and it's a mistake, the mistake shouldn't continue.
No. I want to correct that. You see, children, the Bible says that children are a gift from the Lord. So God doesn't make mistakes.
So even though it's unplanned, it's a gift.
Yes. Even though it's unplanned, it's a gift. Supposing you had given birth to twins, and they are all in the university, what would you tell God?
I know they are twins.
You blame God.
No, they are twins.
Yes, so children are a gift. So whatever gift God gives to you, appreciate it and thank Him and plan towards it.
Yeah, I'm
because the children are gift.
People want to.
You may plan for 2, you may plan for 1, and they become twins. So what do?
No, I know
sometimes triplets.
No, I know somebody who wants 2 children, but then unfortunately they all became, fortunately or unfortunately, they were males. Okay. Now she wants a girl. And keeps trying. So keep trying and keep trying and keep trying. They got to 6.
Hey.
Huh?
So if you are not careful, you want to try. Your children are gifts from God. You are gifts from God.
Let me talk about
but
this.
Then you have to.
You have to plan and talk to God what you want. Practically, when we got married, I said I wanted 1 child.
1 child.
And that 1 should be a male.
And what did mommy want?
She said, oh,
you also wanted children. 1.
So when the child came, fortunately, it was a male. I said, God, thank you, I've finished. And she said, oh, no, I also want a girl. Then I said, okay, if you want a girl, it is God who gave the gift to us. Let us pray and tell God about the gift. So we started praying for another child.
A girl.
But inwardly, she was praying for a girl. I was also praying that she must get a girl so that we cut it. And fortunately, God answered and we got a girl.
Yeah.
This may not happen to everybody. You see, whatever God gives to you, appreciate it.
Yeah.
I am not saying that because we prayed, I said I wanted a male and I got a male. Then other people who want male, and if they get females, then it means that
God
they didn't pray.
Listen.
No. God is God, and we may not understand His ways. He knows what will help us. So let us always be in tune with Him. And then we go on. She wanted you to talk about the emotional attachment.
Yes.
That it is sad to say that children that you have looked after, you have brought them up, you have nurtured them with your physical hard-earned money, grow up, complete the university, and say they don't know you, they won't come back to you. It's very sad. In a Christian home, this should not happen. Yeah. So you should safeguard this from the very beginning. The child must be emotionally attached to the mother from day 1. Not only the mother, but also to the father. So that there should be that rapport going on with both parents and the children. Sometimes when we don't handle things properly in the Christian way, the children becomes offended. Especially when you don't pay the fees. It's only mommy who is paying my fees, this. So
and
when
they see all those things.
Yes. It's only mommy, daddy doesn't help us. Daddy doesn't do this. So when it is Father's Day, they will not mind daddy. When it is Mother's Day, then they bring a mighty cake to mommy. You see? But that should not happen. Investment should be done by both male and female partners. And the children should appreciate the investment. So whenever you see that the children are emotionally getting detached, try to draw them back to you. And that will raise their confidence. That my confidence in my parents is that no matter where I am, I will always communicate with my parents for future results. If there is any problem that or challenge the children are facing, they quickly come to you. They know who to talk to. I have this problem. They know who to talk to. We are using ourselves as examples because our last born is in a university. there are certain things the girl will not tell me. But she will tell the mother, say, why did you tell your mother and didn't tell me? Because they are sensitive to the feminine area.
Yes.
And those that are sensitive to the masculine area, she quickly calls me. Recently, she said, Daddy, there's problem in the school. What is it? My laptop is damaged. The screen is damaged. So, and that is what she needs for her course. Your laptop is damaged, and this laptop is about 5,000. So, why didn't you tell Mommy? Oh, Daddy, I'm telling you. So, Daddy should cough that money. I said, okay, it's good you have told me. Because I also passed through the same school, I know the very important need for the laptop. So, what are we going to do? Can you take it to the department and see whether they can fix it for you? He said, yes, I'll do that. She took it. And then when she took it to the department, they said, oh, they can't get that type in Kumasi. So they can't do it. Then it means Daddy has to buy
a new one.
Then in the process, she called her mother. Mommy, my laptop is damaged. I'm sending you the screen so that a shot on the phone through WhatsApp. When she looked at it, then Mommy said, okay, send it to our friend. We have a friend, that is our best man in Kumasi. He has become a father.
The Kumasi father?
Yes, Kumasi father, parent too. She send it to him, he will pick it and bring the laptop to Accra and they can fix it. So the mother handled that quickly and they fixed it. Within a day, the thing was fixed.
Okay.
And then she called me again. As soon as the thing was fixed, Daddy, we have to pay. And I had to pay. Yeah. So you see that emotionally, she has prepared her mind that Daddy will by all means fix the problem with money. Yes. Okay, Mommy has suggested that if they can't do it in Kumasi, she is in Accra, they can do it. So emotionally, she has connected to the mother. And the two of us are happy. The three of us are also happy now. Yes. So that is the emotion. But sometimes you call from school. Financially, the father can't support. The mother said, haven't I been telling you? You have been spending your money on ice cream and other things. Now you have to send money to the student and you don't have. Yeah. So if this message is communicated to the student, finish. Daddy doesn't want to help. Yeah. But maybe in reality, Daddy doesn't have. You see. But if this correction is not done, and the child grows up with it and completes the university, when I was even there and I needed a laptop, my father didn't mind me. Now my father is old and he wants me to come and support him. I won't go there. This should not happen in the Christian home. That is why when you don't have, be frank, be open to the partner, your partner. I don't have. Can you also support? Yeah. Say yes. Sometimes I don't have money, so I call her.
Thank you, sir. Mommy, you had something to add. The children,
when they are young, we have to inculcate the Christian principles in them. And when they grow up with it, we wouldn't have much problem, especially in this age where technology and social media is destroying the fiber of the children. So we start with morning devotion, in the Christian home. Yeah. That is how we started with them. We call them in the morning, we come together at the hall, we pray with them, we read the Bible, then they know that we need to do our devotion. So when they are out of the house, you don't have much problem. What we did together, the boy stayed here with Daddy because he went through Akosomo International throughout. Then the girl was with me in Accra. She went to the basic school there before she came to the SS here. So initially we were doing the devotion together. But when she was able to read the Bible and read the commentary, I decided that she should do her. So in the morning when I wake her up, I give her the Bible and I do it. So that after that, in the evening we'll come together to share. What I realized was that when we do it together all the time, and that's my mind, and I'm not there, she might feel that mommy is not there. So then let me just quickly bath and go to school. But now she knows that I can do my devotion in my room alone. Yeah. So I left her for some time. And in fact, I realized that it worked. Yeah. So when she was out of the house with the boarding, I wasn't worried because she would even call me in the evening and tell me, Mommy, did you do your devotion? So then we discussed what we did together. And it's very important. You know, when you start with them like that, especially this time when we have social media, because they will always be on the phone, looking through things and reading. But even when you know she's reading, and you have already started with her and built her with that foundation, you know that even if she's reading something, it wouldn't go to that extent of moving out of the boundaries that you have set for her or him. So it is very important. Then you yourself should be a role model for your children, like Daddy said from the beginning.
No. Scripture for them.
Pardon me?
You go on.
Okay. Be a role model. What do you do in the house? They are watching. Do you always gossip? Do friends come to you, talk about people? And they are hearing you talking about this woman, auntie, and talking about uncle, and always gossiping. And when they grow up, they also want to go that way because that is what they have learned in the home. Yes. But where you set example, oh, have you called mommy? Have you called auntie? You know, it's like always being positive and doing things, positive things around you. Then they also learn. I realized that my girl sometimes would kneel down alone and be praying. And she would pray quietly, and I would for about 30 minutes. When she finished, what did you pray about? I said, when you were also praying, you didn't call me. I didn't know what you were praying about. That's the example she said one day. Then I got to know that, okay, so she was watching me kneel down to pray. So she also kneels to pray, you know. So it is what we set and do in the house that the children pick out when they are alone. How do you relate with your husband? How do you relate with your siblings and your aunties? And then when you do that, it means you are training the child to. And then when you go to the cooking aspect, where the lady moves out to marry, yes, you have to also teach them how to cook. My boy cooks very well. Wow. Oh, he cooks. Because
that's what all the women are looking for. That's what all the women are looking for.
Because what I do is that when I come on the weekend, Saturday is my cooking day. I cook every dish. Soup, stew, okra, ponton bread, you know. So when I'm doing that, he's not going to call him, come. And then he was helping. So when he came to Accra, I went to work and I came. He had prepared something, and I was shocked. That was the first time I realized that, hey, this was good. And he said, when you were doing this, I was watching you. Then
so you discuss marriage with them?
Yes, this time I've started.
You started
with the boy
at a stage. When you start discussing marriage with them too early, it's risky. Okay. It's risky. Because they want to experiment.
But after university, or when they are in university,
even before they get to the university,
you can discuss.
Yes, we can discuss with them. You see, I wanted to mention one point about the financing. If the parents do not support the children, especially the ladies, they will look somewhere else. Yes. When they are in the university, they will look somewhere else for money because ladies need a lot of things.
Love and acceptance.
So that is the point I want to call because you see university girls going out looking for sugar daddies and all sorts of things.
Sometimes it's Ohiana.
That is why the parents must plan how to nurture these children. She talked about we being role models. 1 Corinthians chapter 11 verse 1. Paul said, follow my example as I follow Jesus Christ. You see, follow my example as I follow Jesus Christ. Now, if your children cannot follow your example, then what sort of attitude or behavior are you having in the home? If the man is always boxing the woman, beating her up, the children will also learn that.
Or the man is always going out.
And
the boy will also learn it.
Yes.
You also learn it.
That is dangerous.
Thank you. Mommy, so you continue.
Yes. I was going to mention your dressing. Dressing, yes.
But nurturing the children.
Yeah, nurturing the children. You should watch their dressing and at least correct them.
Okay.
I know people who don't want to talk about some of this and they don't want to offend their children.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there are people like that who
offend the children.
Yes.
Yes, just because so that
I have been a teacher where I was very strict in the boarding house. And you see, in the boarding house, you don't bring in any sort of dressing. But you see parents come in, school has reopened, and parents are coming with their children, and the sort of dressing that the children are coming with, the parents don't care.
Even they themselves, what they are wearing to bring them,
well,
it's like
because the children they look at what you are wearing.
So, well, I would say that
you
can dress anyhow in your home, but when you are coming to the school, you must do the right thing at the right time, at the right place.
You see, but the person wouldn't know the right thing because in the home,
Mommy does
it, daddy does it anyhow. So we Christians now have to teach them what to do in the home so that when they come out, they'll come out best. Otherwise, they will disgrace you. And sometimes they don't even see it as disgracing. Disgrace.
It's normal to them.
Normal, because that's how they dress. So when you are complaining about it, it's like, why are you worrying my daughter, or why are you worrying? But then, being Christians, we
have a son
how to dress.
who was coming home. And then he called me and said, Daddy, Mommy says I should cut my hair before I come. He said, oh, well, how is your hair? I was not talking to him on how do you call it?
Video call.
Video call. But we were just on the other line. He said, Mommy said I should do video call for her to see
my hair.
So I should cut it before I come. I said, fine. If you know that your hair is nasty,
go and
do
cut
that
it.
because your dressing would speak about you.
And even about you then.
You and about us too. Because we have sent you out as an ambassador to where you are. And you will come and everybody will begin to know about us. Are your Christian parents there? Would they be happy when they see this sort of dressing? So I realized when he came, he had cut the hair. Then the first time he came, I said, give me high. Then he was laughing. He gave me the high. And I said, hey, so you cut your hair, eh? He said, Mommy, we didn't like it. And I said, Daddy too would not like it the same. So this sort of, everyone should be a mirror of the other. You see, the mother should be my mirror. When she looks at me, I must also look at her. Her dressing and my dressing. In fact, she has been dressing me most of the time. Today we were going to church. He said, what sort of trousers is this?
Then you quickly change it.
No, I didn't say I'm late, I'm going to preach. Because she has acted as a mirror to me.
Yes.
Even though I appreciate some of the corrections that she puts in my life, sometimes they come at the very last minute and you have to go back and it becomes annoying.
Mommy has heard.
Yes, she has.
It's very important for the parenting especially because the children grow to a point that you will not be able to control them again. So, like the stages that we are talking about, marriage, there are stages in the child's life too, that you have to monitor and correct. Otherwise, when you wait till a point that he's gone overboard and you are trying to correct, then it's like...
And usually by the time they get to the university, they've already formed their characters. So at that stage, it's too late and you are not there anyway.
No. You can't do anything about it. So we shouldn't feel reluctant to correct them when we are with them.
Yeah.
You know, don't think about the offense. Sometimes they become offended. The way they will even behave, their facial looks, their attitude. Don't look at that at all.
But you should also notice who your children's friends are. So that if you are not happy about them, then you advise your child or your children about their friends.
Wow. Thank you so much. Mommy, is that all? We've learned so much. In fact, I think
we don't have any. The last stage of the marriage is the completion stage.
Completion. That's after the reunion.
After the reunion. So you have the completion. This is also known as the fulfillment phase. This stage is in your marriage means that you have survived some of the toughest challenges in life. Is there any question? Should I hold on?
Yeah, go on.
It means that you have survived the toughest challenges in your life. Despite the challenges, you remain strong and committed to each other. This is when you can be content and enjoy each other's company. And then I want to end this one with Ruth chapter 1, verse 16 and 17. Ruth 1, 16 and 17.
What is that?
Can you read that?
So let me read a few comments. Teacher Emma is laughing out loud. Mrs. Lucia Rari says, "That's my papa. You are so real. God bless you." Teacher Emma says, "Wow, I'm learning a lot." Mrs. Owari says, "God bless you, Mom." And then, "Hey, Papa, 40 days, pa, the 40 days fasting." Mrs. Owari says, "Be a mirror to each other. God bless you, Daddy and Mommy." Thank you for your comments. Keep them coming in. So we're reading from
Ruth 1, 16 to 17. Oh, no. Married.
Ruth.
The completion stage. We want to compare what Ruth said to a marriage being coupled. Like, just put the couple in there to stand in what the verse for what Ruth said here.
So you are in the reunion stage, or you are in the reunion. Okay.
And then the same completion.
Okay.
It goes hand in hand.
Okay.
And it says that in this stage, you have gone through the toughest challenges. And so you have survived everything here, and you are content anywhere. You have built together, you have children together, and they are all looking up to you. People are calling you mommy.
And the kids are grown now.
They are grown. So why do you have to move out of marriage? And so when people divorce at this stage, then you ask yourself, where are you going? Because it's like there's nothing you can go and do out there. So why would you stay in and be content with what you have now by trying to work it together in fulfillment of your vows that you took in the church? So in Ruth chapter 1, verse 16 to 17, Ruth says something here. When Naomi asked Ruth to
Ruth said, I'm reading. Ruth chapter 1, 16. "Entreat me not to leave you or turn back from following after you. For wherever you go, I will go. And wherever you lodge, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people, and your God my God. Where you die, I will die, and there will I be buried. The Lord do so to me, and more also, if anything but death parts you and me."
See, Ruth got to a point that she realized that no, I can't leave Naomi. Because no matter what, I have left my family, I have left everything. I have come. Why are you asking me to go back? I can't go back. There's nobody here to be with you.
Yeah.
And that is where we have to get to in our marriages. The completion, the reunion and the completion.
We don't start crying to say, I want to divorce.
No. You don't have to now regret, like say, no, I have regretted marrying. No. You are already in. Just say to yourself that we are together. Your God will be my God. Where you die, I will die. Where you stay, I will be. There will be no separation.
Yes.
Because God hates divorce. Yeah. So once you are going in, go in with that mentality that I'm going to stay forever. Okay. No matter what. Okay. And then it will depend on you. When it becomes difficult, the two of you should pray together, fast together, pray, and then look up to God. And when you need to bring in other people to help, there are times that you need to invite other people to help. It's not going to be like the two of you together. When you handle situations to a point that you think that you cannot, and you need somebody, a trusted person, somebody who is ahead of you, somebody who has nurtured you in the spirit, in the spiritual realm, your spiritual father, your pastor, of mommy, whoever, or a friend who is very close and will not go talking about you, but will help you to pray. Then you come in with that person to help, and that will help you to live a very joyful marriage.
Thank you. That's the completion and fulfillment stage. Daddy, your last words.
My
life stages in marriage.
We always come in with the scripture. Ephesians chapter 4. Verse 2 and 3. I'm reading from the Good News Bible. NIV. With all lowliness and gentleness, couples with long suffering, bear one another in love, endeavoring to keep the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace. Are you getting it?
Yes.
You see, with long suffering, you have to keep the bond of love together. There should never be any time in your life as a couple for you to back at your partner. I am breaking this marriage. Who are you? If you want to break away from your partner, then you don't see God in your partner. And if you cannot break away from God, why do you break away from your partner? So divorce, the Lord says He hates. We should keep the love and the bond together and always be joyful in the marriage. Marriage is sweet when you understand and you are using the manual that God has given to us. And we need to pray for each other to make the marriage sweet. There can be challenges, but as we go through the different phases, we shouldn't think that marriage is all about sex.
That is about 10%. Or even 5%.
Yes. Marriage is not about sex. Marriage is about understanding God through your partner. Knowing God through your partner. Learning from the Lord through your partner. So in a Christian marriage, we need to ask ourselves, what have I learned from my husband? What have I learned from my wife? If you have learned nothing for all these years, then your marriage is sick.
Then maybe we should look at it from what am I teaching my spouse as well.
What am I teaching my spouse and my children?
Exactly. Thank you.
And finally, to say that if there are no children in a marriage, it doesn't mean that God does not love you. At the right time, God will answer.
Thank you so much. They've said it all. Mr. and Mrs. NARTEY, thank you so much for sharing the last almost 30 years of your marriage with us. Mejidi say na yesuan bebre. I have learned so much, especially about the reality stage. That is where the challenges are. And Mejidi say ina no yeti ase na se yetumi gina through this challenging period. We will definitely get to the reunion stage and the completion stage. But all in all, I was saying I am willing to learn and improve on ourselves as individuals and also as a couple, and be willing to grow together through all the storms of life. Like we said, no, it's not going to be rosy throughout. Challenges nebeba, intoka nebeba, misunderstandings nebeba, but they are supposed to make us stronger as a couple and build a more beautiful marriage. Thank you so much for joining us. I believe we've learned so much, and we'll share the videos and join us again next week. Have a good week. God bless you. Bye.